Ladies and gentlemen, you ever feel like the world's on your shoulders? Like every time you try to take a step forward, something or someone is there to push you back, to drag you down? You're tired, you're exhausted. You've been working, fighting, striving, and it feels like all that effort, all that work is just spinning in place like a hamster on a wheel. Sometimes you wonder, why am I still doing this? What's the point? Let me tell you something. The point is that you've come too far to quit. You've been through too much to turn back now. The journey is never easy, and if it were, it wouldn't be worth it. But let me tell you something, the fight, the struggle, it's what shapes you. It's what builds you into the person you're meant to become. You think the road is hard? Good. You think the climb is tough? Even better. Because that's where the strength comes from. Listen, it's easy to talk about success when you're on top. It's easy to tell someone, don't quit, don't give up, but when you're the one in the trenches, when you're the one putting in the sweat, the tears, the hours, it's different. You look around and see other people moving ahead while you're still stuck. You think, what's the point? What's the use in that, my friend? That right there is the moment you need to dig deep. That's the moment that will either break you or make you. You see, greatness isn't found in the moments when everything's going your way. It's found when you're on the edge of giving up, when you're down to your last nerve, when you've got nothing left to give. That's where your true self is forged. But you got to keep going. You got to keep pushing. Because you're stronger than you think. You've got more inside of you than you realize. Every day you have a choice. You can either fold, give up, or you can stand up, dust yourself off, and keep going. It's that simple. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not talent. It's persistence. It's the willingness to get knocked down 7 times and get up 8. It's the determination to keep going even when you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Because here's the truth, there's always a way. But the way is often hidden behind the struggle. If you're not willing to fight through the tough times, you're never going to see the victory on the other side. You're going to face obstacles, it's just a fact. No one is immune to struggle. But the key is, how do you respond? Do you let those obstacles stop you? Or do you use them as stepping stones to build your path? Do you let the weight of the world keep you down? Or do you rise up and say, I can handle this. I can take this challenge, and I'm going to come out on top. And let me tell you something else, there's no shortcut. There's no easy way out. Success is earned. It's not given. It's not handed to you on a silver platter. It's the result of grit, determination, and relentless effort. There's no magic formula. It's about getting up every single day, putting in the work, and not letting anything stop you. You're going to fall. It's going to happen. But falling is not failing. Failing is when you don't get back up. Failing is when you don't take that next step. You don't lose until you quit. As long as you're still breathing, as long as you're still moving, you haven't lost yet. And every time you fall, you get up stronger. Every time you stumble, you learn something new. So keep getting up. You think people who've made it didn't face adversity? You think they didn't have those moments when they thought, this is too hard? Of course they did. But what separates them from the ones who quit is their resilience. It's their ability to get back in the ring, to take another shot. And you're no different. You have that same power inside of you. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying there won't be days when you feel like throwing in the towel. But what I am saying is that those are the days when you dig in deeper. Those are the days when you show the world who you are. You show the world that no matter how many times life knocks you down, you're going to get back up. You show the world that you're not a quitter. You have greatness inside of you, and it's time to let it out. But greatness doesn't come to those who sit back and wait for it. It comes to. Resilience in the face of struggle success is forged in the difficult moments. The real test of strength is not when things are easy, but when you feel like giving up. True greatness comes from persevering through adversity and continuing to push forward, even when progress feels slow or invisible. The power of persistence, talent alone is not enough to achieve success. Persistence, the ability to get knocked down and keep getting back up, is what separates those who succeed from those who quit. It's about showing up every day, doing the work, and not giving in to challenges or setbacks. Failure is not the end. Falling or failing is part of the journey, but it doesn't mean you've lost. The real failure is when you stop trying. Each setback is an opportunity to learn, grow, and become stronger. As long as you keep moving forward, you haven't lost. Embrace the fight. Life's challenges are inevitable, but how you respond to them is what matters. Greatness is achieved by those who face their obstacles head on, who rise every time they fall, and who refuse to quit. You have the power to overcome, and your journey to success requires embracing the fight, not avoiding it. When you're standing at the bottom of that mountain, looking up, it can feel like the climb is too steep, the journey too long, and the challenges too numerous. It's easy to feel like the weight of the world is pressing down on you, like you're carrying more than you can bear. But let me tell you something, that moment right there is where your resilience is born. It's in the struggle, it's in the battle, where you find out who you truly are. People talk about success like it's a destination. But the truth is, success is in the journey. It's in those moments when everything seems impossible and you choose to keep moving forward anyway. It's in the moments when you're faced with rejection, failure, or doubt, and yet you keep your eyes on the prize and refuse to be broken. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's about growing stronger in the face of adversity. You're going to face those days. You're going to have those nights where you lie awake wondering if it's even worth it. Those moments when you feel like your hard work is going unnoticed, or when you've put everything you have into something, only to watch it fall apart. That's the struggle. That's the test. That's the point where most people quit. But let me tell you this, if you can push through that moment, if you can weather that storm, that's where the strength is found. Life is never going to hand you anything on a silver platter. No one gets to the top without a fight. And it's not just about fighting through the easy parts. It's about fighting when everything is telling you to give up. It's about continuing to show up day after day, even when it feels like you're not getting anywhere. When you're in the middle of the struggle, you can't always see the way forward. All you know is that you have to keep going. The thing about resilience is that it's not something you're born with. It's something you develop over time. It's a muscle. And just like any muscle, it needs to be trained, stretched, and pushed to its limit in order to grow. When you face hardship and keep pushing forward, that's how resilience becomes a part of you. It's how you build the mental toughness to take on even bigger challenges in the future. People will try to tell you that the struggle isn't worth it, that it's too much, that you should just give up and move on. But those people haven't been where you've been. They haven't fought the battles you've fought. They don't know what it's like to stare adversity in the face and keep walking, even when the road is full of obstacles. The road to success is paved with struggle. If you're not struggling, you're not growing. It's through those difficult moments, those times when you feel like giving up, that you find the strength to keep going. Resilience is built when you are faced with something that seems insurmountable. It's in those moments when you feel like the world is against you, when everything seems to be falling apart, that you make the choice to rise. It's about how you respond to those challenges. It's about looking at the obstacles in your path and saying, I'm not done. I'm not finished. I'm not giving up. I'm going to find a way to keep moving forward. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulty. It's not about sidestepping the hard work. It's about embracing the difficulty, acknowledging the struggle, and still deciding to push through. No one, and I mean no one, gets to the other side of hardship without scars. But it's those scars that make you who you are. They're a testament to your strength, your courage, your determination. Every time you fall and get back up, you build your resilience. Every setback, every disappointment, every failure is a lesson. You learn from it, you grow from it, and you move forward better and stronger. And let me tell you something else, resilience doesn't always look like what people think it does. It's not always about being tough, standing tall, and walking through life with your chest out like nothing can hurt you. Sometimes, resilience is about being vulnerable. It's about admitting when you're struggling. reaching out for help, and accepting that you can't do it all on your own. It's about being strong enough to ask for support when you need it, and wise enough to know that you don't have to go through life alone. In fact, there's strength in recognizing that we can't do everything by ourselves. Resilience doesn't mean never feeling pain, never feeling tired, or never feeling tired, or never feeling like quitting. It means feeling all of those things and continuing to move forward anyway. It means allowing yourself to feel broken, but knowing that you're not finished. You're still here. You're still breathing. You still have the power to get back up. The beauty of resilience is that it's a choice. Every time you face a difficult moment, you have a decision to make. You can either let it break you or you can let it shape you. Every time you face a setback, a challenge, or a disappointment, you get to decide, do I quit or do I rise again? The choice is yours. And every time you choose to rise, you build your resilience. You make it stronger, sharper, more powerful. So when life gets hard, and it will get hard, don't back down. Don't let the difficulty overwhelm you. Don't let the challenges define you. Let them refine you. Because that's the beauty of struggle. It doesn't define who you are. It reveals who you are. The way you face adversity, the way you respond to hardship, shows the world what you're truly made of. You don't get to choose the struggles you face, but you do get to choose how you respond. And how you respond will determine whether you're going to rise or fall. It's important to understand that resilience isn't a one-time thing. It's not something you just have in a moment of crisis. It's something that gets built over time. Every challenge you face, every difficult situation you survive adds another layer to your resilience. With each obstacle you overcome, you become a little bit stronger. And when the next challenge comes, you're ready for it. The road is never easy, but with every step, you become better equipped to handle what's ahead. Resilience is about developing a mindset that refuses to quit. It's about understanding that no matter how many times you fall, as long as you get back up, you're moving forward. Success isn't measured by how many times you fall, it's measured by how many times you get up. It's measured by your ability to persevere, to stay in the fight, to keep going, even when it feels like you've reached your breaking point. And that's what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. Not the talent, not the resources, but the refusal to quit, the refusal to be defeated. No matter how difficult the path may seem, you've got what it takes. You've got the strength, the drive, and the resilience to get through it. It's not about avoiding the struggle, it's about embracing it, learning from it, and using it as fuel to keep going. The road may be tough, but you are tougher. The obstacles may be many, but you have the power to overcome them. And every time you do, you build a little more resilience, a little more strength, a little more courage. So when the going gets tough, when you feel like giving up, remember that it's not the end, it's just the beginning. It's the moment where you decide whether you're going to let the struggle break you or whether you're going to let it make you stronger. The choice is yours. You've got this. Keep going, keep fighting. Because on the other side of this struggle is a version of you that's stronger, wiser, and ready to take on whatever comes next. Persistence is one of the most powerful forces that anyone can harness. It's the unwavering commitment to a goal, even when it feels like all the odds are stacked against you. It's the ability to stay the course, to keep pushing forward, even when every step feels like it's the hardest one you've ever taken. It's the difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't. Not because of their ability, not because of their intelligence, but because they refuse to give up. Persistence is not simply about continuing to work towards a goal. It's about doing so with resilience, with focus, and with the understanding that the road is never easy, but it's always worth it. When you look at any successful person, no matter their field, no matter their background, what you'll find isn't just talent or opportunity, it's persistence. Success doesn't come from the first try, or even the second, third, or fourth try. Success comes from continuing to go after it, even when you hit the wall, even when things don't go as planned. Every failure, every setback is part of the process. What matters is that you don't stop. You keep going. You find a way around the obstacle. You adjust your plan, and you keep moving forward. Persistence is what separates those who make it and those who fall short. There are going to be moments in your life when you're faced with challenges that seem insurmountable. You're going to encounter obstacles that make you question your ability to succeed. You're going to experience rejection, failure, and loss. And in those moments, it's easy to think, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not cut out for this, but it's in those very moments when persistence matters most. It's the ability to recognize that no single setback defines your future, that no failure has the power to determine your worth. Failure isn't final unless you let it be. It's just part of the process. What counts is what you do after the fall. Will you stay down, or will you get back up, dust yourself off, and keep moving towards your goal? Persistence is the decision to get back up every single time you fall. It's the willingness to endure the long hours, the frustration, the pain, and the disappointment. It's the courage to keep pushing forward when it seems like there's no end in sight. And when you make the decision to persist, you develop a kind of mental toughness that becomes a part of who you are. It becomes your foundation. It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, because each time you rise, you become stronger. Every struggle makes you more equipped for the next one. And the more persistent you are, the more you learn about your own capabilities. Persistence is also about understanding that success is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about understanding that even when the finish line seems so far away, the only way to get there is to keep moving step by step. Every little action you take, no matter how small it may seem, brings you closer to your goal. It's easy to feel discouraged when you look at where you are compared to where you want to be. But persistence teaches you to focus on the small wins, the tiny steps that accumulate over time. Every moment spent moving forward, no matter how insignificant it may seem in the grand scheme of things, is progress. And progress is what persistence is all about. If you think about the most successful people throughout history, you'll realize that none of them got to where they are without persistence. Thomas Edison, for example, failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. He didn't just give up because things weren't working the first time, or the 10th time, or the 100th time. No, he learned from his failures, adjusted his approach, and kept going. He understood that failure wasn't something to be feared, it was something to learn from. In fact, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's persistence. That's the attitude you need to take on in life. Another example is J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. She faced rejection after rejection from publishers, with many telling her that her story would never be successful. But she didn't stop. She believed in her story, she believed in herself, and she kept pushing forward. Today, she's one of the most successful authors in history, but her success didn't come from talent alone. It came from persistence. It came from refusing to quit, from believing that the story she had to tell was worth sharing with the world, no matter how many times she was told no. This same persistence is what will get you through your toughest times. When things aren't going your way, when the world seems like it's closing in around you, remember that persistence is the key to unlocking the doors you want to open. The moment you decide not to quit is the moment that your breakthrough could be right around the corner. You never know when that moment of success will arrive. It might be just one more attempt away, one more try after all the failures. That's why persistence is so powerful, it doesn't give up on you, even when you feel like giving up on yourself. You see, the problem for most people isn't that they lack talent or intelligence, it's that they lack the ability to persist. They give up too soon, they stop before the breakthrough happens, they stop before the success is just within their reach. But those who persist understand that success isn't always immediate. It's a process. It's something that requires patience, resilience, and the willingness to keep going, even when you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Persistence is also about focus. It's about knowing what you want and not letting anything distract you from your goal. It's easy to get sidetracked by life's distractions, the things that try to pull you off course. But if you can maintain your focus, if you can keep your eyes on the prize, then you'll keep moving forward, no matter how tough things get. When you persist, you create momentum. You build up energy, and that energy keeps you going. It's like pushing a boulder uphill. At first, it's heavy, and it takes a lot of effort. But once you get it moving, the momentum carries you. Persistence is that momentum. It's what keeps you going when it feels like you've hit a wall. Remember, persistence doesn't always look like perfection. It doesn't mean you have to do everything right. It means that you keep going, even when you fail. It means you embrace the struggle and you use it as fuel for your journey. Persistence is not about avoiding mistakes, it's about learning from them. It's about not letting one failure define you and about understanding that each setback is simply a lesson, a necessary part of the process. Each mistake brings you closer to success because each one teaches you something new, something valuable. Let's break this down. Failure happens to everyone. It's a matter of when no one escapes life without facing disappointment, rejection, or failure in some form. The most successful people are not the ones who never failed. They're the ones who failed the most, who kept getting back up after every setback, who refused to let a single moment of defeat define them. They understood that failure is not permanent, it's temporary. It's a moment, a test, a challenge to see how badly you really want something. Will you let it break you, or will you use it to push yourself further? Take a look at any great inventor or entrepreneur. Think of someone like Thomas Edison. He failed thousands of times before he successfully invented the light bulb. Thousands. But do you think he let those failures define him? Do you think he woke up every morning thinking, I'll never get it right, or I'm just not cut out for this? Absolutely not. He kept going. He understood that failure was just a part of the process. And when he finally succeeded, he didn't look back and say, well, I finally figured it out after failing 10,000 times. Instead, he said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That's perspective. That's the understanding that failure doesn't mean the end. It means you're getting closer to success with each attempt. We've all heard about the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. Before she became one of the most successful writers of all time, she was rejected by multiple publishers. She had to face countless no's, and at times it seemed like her dream would never come true. Many people might have given up, but she didn't. She persisted, and that's where the real magic happened. She embraced her failures, learned from them, and kept going. Today, Harry Potter is a worldwide phenomenon, but it wouldn't have happened if she had stopped after her first failure, or her second, or even her third. She understood that failure wasn't the end of her story, it was just a part of it. Think about how much you've learned from your own failures. Every time you fall short, you get a little bit smarter, a little bit wiser. You start to see things differently. You gain new skills, new insights, and new perspectives that help you improve. But if you let failure stop you in your tracks, you don't get to see any of that. You don't get the chance to grow, to evolve, to become the person you're meant to be. Failure isn't something that holds you back unless you allow it to. It's not a barrier. It's a lesson. So why do we fear failure so much? Why do we treat it as something so terrible, something to be avoided at all costs? A lot of it comes from our desire for perfection. We want to get everything right every time. We want to impress others, to be seen as successful, and we fear judgment. But here's the truth: perfection is a myth. It doesn't exist. We live in a world where mistakes happen, where things don't always go as planned, and where no one is perfect. If you wait for the perfect moment or for everything to be perfect before you act, you'll be waiting forever. And while you're waiting, someone else is taking action, failing, and learning from those failures. It's okay to fail. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to make mistakes. But what's not okay is to quit because of those mistakes. What's not okay is to let a moment of failure define your future. Failure is not the end unless you choose to make it the end. You have the power to decide how you respond to setbacks. You have the power to decide that one failure won't stop you from reaching your goals. And each time you decide to get back up, you prove to yourself that failure truly is not the end. You know, some of the most successful people in history failed not just once, not just twice, but repeatedly. They were knocked down time and time again. But with each failure, they became more resilient, more determined, and more prepared for what was to come. And that's the difference between those who achieve greatness and those who give up. Those who give up look at failure as a sign that they're not good enough, that they'll never make it. But those who succeed look at failure as an opportunity, a chance to learn, to adapt, and to improve. They look at failure and say, that didn't work, but I'll try again. And I'll try again until I get it right. Consider the countless athletes who have faced defeat and loss. Every championship winner has faced failure along the way. They've lost matches, made mistakes, and encountered setbacks that seemed insurmountable. But the true champions are the ones who don't let those losses define them. They use those defeats as fuel to push them even harder. They learn from every misstep and use that knowledge to perform better in the future. Failure for them isn't the end of their journey, it's a part of their growth. It's a necessary step that prepares them for the success that lies ahead. And here's another truth: failure is often a sign that you're pushing the boundaries, that you're stepping outside your comfort zone, that you're trying something new. If you're not failing, you're probably not taking enough risks. You're probably not challenging yourself enough. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. Growth happens when you step into the unknown, when you dare to fail, because it's through failure that you uncover your true potential. Failure pushes you to rethink, reevaluate, and reimagine your approach. It helps you innovate, and it forces you to find creative solutions. If you never fail, you'll never know just how far you can go. It's failure that expands your limits, that teaches you how much you can handle, how much you can overcome. So the next time you fail, whether it's in your career, your personal life, or any area where you're striving for success, remember that it's not the end. It's just a chapter, and you're the one who gets to decide how the rest of the story unfolds. Will you let failure define you, or will you rise above it, stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever? The choice is yours. And remember, failure is not the end. It's just the beginning of something greater. There are moments in life when you're up against it, when it feels like everything is working against you, when the weight of the world is on your shoulders and you're struggling just to catch your breath. You're in the fight. And it's not just a minor inconvenience, it's a full-on battle. The odds seem insurmountable, the challenges seem endless, and the road ahead appears impossible to navigate. But I'm here to tell you something that can change everything. Embrace the fight. You see, we all want the easy road. We want things to come smoothly. We want success to fall in our lap. And we dream of living a life without struggles, without pain. But that's not how it works. The fight, the struggle, the obstacles, they're not things to fear. They're things to embrace. Because it's in the fight that you find who you truly are. It's in the struggle that you uncover your strength, your resilience, and your ability to overcome anything life throws at you. Life is going to test you, and there's no way around it. But what you can control is your response to those tests. Will you face the fight head on, or will you shy away from it, hoping that it will go away on its own? Most people, when they encounter a fight, whether it's a battle with their own self-doubt, a relationship issue, a financial struggle, or even a personal health challenge, want to run, to escape, to find the quickest exit. And who can blame them? Pain is uncomfortable. Struggle is tiring. Fighting requires energy, persistence, and grit. But the truth is, without those struggles, without those battles, we don't grow, we don't evolve. The fight is where transformation happens. It's where you develop the mental toughness, the tenacity, and the drive to move forward in life. Without the fight, you remain stagnant. And let me tell you something, stagnation is far worse than the fight. Now, don't get me wrong. The fight isn't easy. No one ever said it would be. But that's the point. If it were easy, it wouldn't be worth it. The hardest challenges in life are often the ones that lead to the greatest rewards. They force you to dig deep within yourself, to pull out resources and strength you didn't even know you had. They show you what you're truly capable of when you refuse to quit, when you refuse to give in. The fight isn't meant to break you, it's meant to make you stronger. It's meant to shape you into the person you need to be in order to achieve your greatest potential. When you embrace the fight, you stop seeing challenges as obstacles and start viewing them as opportunities. Opportunities to learn, to grow, and to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever thought possible. Too many people back down when things get tough, thinking that the struggle is too much to bear. They see every setback as a sign that they aren't cut out for success. But that's the wrong mindset. The setbacks are part of the journey. The struggles are not signs of weakness, they are signs that you're pushing yourself, that you're stepping outside your comfort zone, that you're willing to grow. If you avoid the fight, you avoid growth. But embracing the fight doesn't just mean accepting the struggles that come your way. It means actively choosing to engage with those struggles, to stand firm and face them head on. It means no longer being afraid of failure, no longer being afraid of making mistakes, and no longer being afraid of what's on the other side of the struggle. The fear of the fight is often what keeps people from stepping up to it in the first place. But what I want you to understand is that fear is a natural part of the process. It's a sign that you're challenging yourself, that you're stepping into new territory, and that you're doing something worthwhile. Fear is not an enemy, it's a sign that you're on the right path. When you embrace the fight, you become unstoppable. You become someone who doesn't back down when things get tough, but someone who finds a way through. Someone who looks for solutions instead of problems. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes an opportunity to learn, to adjust, and to try again. And when you try again, you're not the same person you were before. You've grown, you've learned. And that makes all the difference. The more you face the fight, the more you understand that it's not the fight itself that's important. It's how you respond to it. It's the mindset you bring to the fight that determines whether or not you'll win. I know that the fight can feel like it's taking everything out of you. There are moments when you feel like you can't go on, like you're out of strength, out of energy, out of ideas, and that's okay, that's normal. But in those moments, it's important to remember one thing: you don't have to fight the fight alone. You have the ability within you to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep moving forward. You might feel exhausted, but deep down, you have more strength than you realize. You just have to tap into it. You have to believe in your own capacity to endure, to rise above, and to win. And when you do that, you discover a new level of strength, one you never thought you had. But the fight isn't just about physical strength or willpower. It's also about mental toughness. It's about developing a mindset that refuses to quit, a mindset that sees failure as a lesson and struggle as an opportunity. This mental toughness doesn't come overnight. It's built through repeated effort, through pushing yourself even when you don't feel like it, through facing each challenge with the mindset that you will overcome it. And the more you train your mind to embrace the fight, the stronger you become. You develop resilience, the ability to bounce back, to recover from setbacks, and to keep going no matter what. This is what separates the winners from the losers. The winners are the ones who keep going, who keep fighting, who refuse to quit. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that they should avoid struggle. They think that if they're struggling, they're doing something wrong. But that's not true. Struggle is a natural part of growth. It's a sign that you're pushing yourself, that you're reaching for something more. The moment you stop struggling, you stop growing. Embrace the struggle. Embrace the fight. Every challenge you face is shaping you, molding you into the person you need to be in order to succeed. And you can't reach that level of success without embracing the fight. The fight is also about the long game. It's easy to give up when you don't see immediate results, when things don't change right away, when the progress seems slow. But remember, nothing worth having happens overnight. The greatest achievements in life come from consistency, from showing up every day, from continuing to fight, even when you don't see the payoff right away. It's the daily effort, the continued push, the refusal to quit that leads to success. The fight isn't about one big moment, it's about a series of small victories, a series of days and nights where you keep going despite the odds. And in the end, when you look back, you realize that those small efforts, those moments of persistence were what led you to where you are today. You may not always win the fight in the way you expect. Sometimes you'll face setbacks, sometimes you'll fail. But that's okay. The fight isn't about never losing, it's about never giving up. It's about having the courage to get back up, to dust yourself off, and to fight again. No matter how many times life knocks you down, you have to be willing to rise again. And with each rise, you get stronger. With each fight, you become more resilient. And with each battle, you get closer to becoming the person you're meant to be. Embrace the fight. It's the only way to become everything you're capable of becoming. Don't shy away from it. Step into it. And when you do, you'll discover a power within you that will carry you through every challenge life throws your way.